Steve Gully, the head track and field and cross-country coach, joins us here on Kane Vision. And Coach, what a splendid finish to your spring season. And let's just start off with a national champion. Mark Scott wins the 10,000 meters, your first outdoor national championship. How special was that?
It was great. I mean, I guess we felt a little bit of pressure. There were some people who really thought Mark should win it. But when you get to the NCAAs, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you're not racing some of these people head-to-head all season. You're facing another athlete from the other part of the country you haven't seen. So you had to take the conditions and everything there, and you hope for the best. But Mark ran a great race, very proud of him, and we were glad that he took care of that job, and very pleased.
Well, and in the early going, it appeared the pace was a little bit slow, and for a guy like Mark, who has the great kick, that was a good thing. The race kind of planned out or worked out kind of the way you planned, didn't it?
It did, but the same thing is you're keeping a lot of other people in the race too. So when you get down to maybe a mile or two to go, if there's still 16 people in it, you know somebody can get lucky. There's no doubt. But yes, I think it worked to Mark's advantage. I think if it had been faster pace, it still would have probably been tilted a little bit Mark's advantage. But yes, the longer they kept the pace slow, I think we felt more reassured, and then I think in the last 2 or 3 laps we felt he was in a good position, and I think the race plan we had planned out worked out fine.
And then when in that last lap, when he kicked it in, boy, he got some separation, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. He has a quick acceleration. He's a lot quicker than you think. So people think when you run 6 miles, these guys aren't very quick. He is very quick, and I think he had that confidence. He'd been working on that all season, and yes, he took advantage of it.
And Coach, the backstory is he had some difficulties earlier in the week getting ready for Wednesday, didn't he?
Yeah, he had an episode on Monday when he got there training. We thought it was more of a heat exhaustion. We did everything we could, spent the night in the hospital. It may come out that we actually had a little bit of problem with some seizure situations. And I think that's something we're trying to follow up on and learn that he's had some in the past. So we're trying to update our health issues with him.
Well, and certainly all cleared and ready to go on the 10 and just did a great job on it. Speaking of a great job, Luke Trainor finishes 8th, and he scores some points for you in the national meet.
I think it was big for us because Luke was there last year. I think his confidence was totally different from last year. But Luke had a lot of injury situations. So I think technically Luke only ran 2 races the whole outdoor season. So we were very proud. It was something, maybe the season wasn't going the way he wanted, but he dug down deep and tried to get some points for the team. And I really appreciate that. It's something that we don't look at. When things aren't going good, a lot of people pack up their bags. He didn't. He said, what can I do for the university? And he got in there, and I was very proud of him to get that 1 point for us in 8th.
Absolutely. And then in the 5,000 meter, you have Mark Scott again, and he's not as much the favorite in that, but boy, he performed well and had a kick at the end, got boxed in a little, huh?
Yeah, I'm glad there wasn't the pressure on the situation. I think there's 3 or 4, and I think the young man from Arkansas had a great race. But I think if we would have been a little bit better positioned, maybe things would have been different, but it wasn't the way. And I think we have to learn to race in a little more crowded field. Extremely slow pace again. It brought everybody into the race, which turned out maybe hurt us because we kind of got trapped in there and boxed, and we couldn't get out till really late in the race. And it didn't turn out the way we planned, but he had to run 10,000 2 days before, and he wasn't complaining. He was going to go out there and do the best job he could. Yeah,
so he finishes 4th, which gets you some more points, which as you add up all the points with he and Luke, you end up 14th in the NCAAs, which is remarkable considering you brought 2 guys.
Absolutely. Quality does speak well. We're very proud because we haven't scored that many points at the outdoors. And that meant a lot, and I think that was probably our biggest goal going in. The kids knew that they had to do well for the university, and I think when you focus on something like that, good things are happening. So they were digging for every point we could get for the NCAAs to help the university.
All right, so in the U.S. Track and Field Coaches Association, they do an overall programmatic ranking. And you have to qualify for the NCAAs in cross country, and then score points in the indoor and the outdoor in the NCAAs. So that cuts down the number of people eligible, but you have to have an overall program and get to the big dance, so to speak, in all 3 of those disciplines.
Absolutely.
So you're one of the teams that did that, and you finished 4th in those rankings. That is really special.
That's huge. I don't think people understand that. I mean, we're so small. And yes, it's something that's always been in our mind. A couple of years ago, we were so excited. I think we were 16th, and we thought that was a big deal. Now to be fourth, and you look at the names and the programs that we're competing with for the University of Tulsa, it's a milestone for us, and it's a goal for us now to strive for. That if we get there in cross, which we traditionally have for the last 6 or 7 years, but can we do it indoor and outdoor? And I think it's hard because it's a stress. You got to have a lot of good athletes, and you got to do a good job 3 times. But I couldn't be more happier for the university and my athletes, and they did a great job.
And see, cross country was what, 11th? Is that correct? So you finish 11th at cross country, score points in the indoor and in the outdoor, and Mark Scott obviously has a big input in that. But overall, you've got to feel really good about the shape of the entire program in terms of all the way from the fall in cross country, then all the way to now when you finish things up in the outdoor.
Absolutely. And it's something we'll review. We review our season, how we trained and how we competed. And I don't know, maybe it was luck. Maybe we had older athletes, Luke and Mark being 5th-year kids, that made a big difference. It's something for us to look at, but it's something that we really enjoyed, and we like to see it happen again.
What's the feeling like for a coach when Mark Scott hits the tape and has won a national championship, and it's the first time for the program in the outdoor? What's it like for a coach?
It's outstanding. I mean, there's words can't describe it, because you feel pressure for that athlete, because I know how much he wanted that. And you're saying a lot of it falls on our shoulders. Did we have the right race plan? Did we have him ready at the right time? So sometimes it's a little bit of relief, because you want that athlete to leave the university knowing he did the best job and you did the best job you can with him.
And Mark Scott, we may see him obviously in some national competition
so.
or international competitions coming up in the future. We'll look forward to that.
Yep.
Coach, congratulations on a great spring. Congratulations for 4th. That's
Thanks.
great. Head coach Steve Gully, University of Tulsa, track and field and cross country.